Hi, my name is Luz, and welcome to Transform Podcast. Today, our special guest is Will Castillo. Welcome to our show.
Hi, Luz. Thank you for having me. Appreciate you sending the invite.
We're very excited to have you here. Will and I know each other through Owners Club, and it's been an excellent journey for us. I think the last 2 years we were both what you consider OG founding members, and it actually has been a really exciting time where we've gotten an opportunity to connect with excellent high level people. But aside from that, start to build some really strong relationships, friendships, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Honestly, it was a big shift on my end because I've never been part of like any community. So it was really kind of like a jump into the cold water and see what happens.
So were you were part of Sub 2 before joining Owners Club, correct?
No, actually I started in Gator. I
Oh,
started in
okay.
Gator 3 months, 4 months before Squad Up 2024.
Oh, okay, great. So I also joined Gator first, but I like to call it the gateway drug because I joined Gator, then I joined Sub 2, and then here I am in Owners Club, but that's okay. I realize I think most people join Gator because it is more affordable
Yeah,
and the idea of, oh, I could probably lend out a few $1,000s and make some
right.
money back. And that's kind of how you get reeled in. But anyway, it worked out. It's been great for I think for all of us who joined Gator and then now in Owners Club as well. So a little bit about the podcast. We like to talk about transformation. And so one of the things that we like to ask our guests is if you can tell us a time, tell us a little bit about your life and your business and what it looked like before you had a big transformation. Now, I'm assuming you've had a big transformation since you've joined Owners Club. So tell me about that. What does that look like? What does that mean? What was life before for Will, and what is life for Will now?
Sure, definitely. So I'll tell you a little bit of like how I got into entrepreneurship because I think that's kind of like the transformation that I went through.
Perfect.
I used to back in college, I used to work at a dealership, and I also do you know what churros are? The churros,
Yes.
like yeah.
Oh, they're so
Okay, so I
good.
used to yeah, I used to make them for like a summer job after high school. And then when once I started college, I kind of like wanted to join like organizations and like, get I was like, I need to, get to know people and figured out what I'm gonna do with my life pretty much. Cause I was like, I'm an adult now, right? I'm in college. So that's what kind of like the entrepreneurship had already been there because I used to do like promotions and I live in Miami, so the nightlife here it's always very attracting, I guess. But as I went into college, I went into a fraternity. I joined a fraternity, and I decided to treat it as a business. That was kind of like I will say is the first shift because I have known of fraternities more of the party type. I was generally just looking to meet people, to be quite honest. So I joined the fraternity, and little by little I started understanding like, oh wait, this is a business. This is if you treat it like a business, it 10x whatever your experience will be in college. So I started doing that, and we went from I joined what I thought was the best fraternity nationwide. It wasn't in the school at the time, but I was the events manager or the social chair is what we called it, and I kind of grabbed that, and we had a budget of $5,000 a month. So with
Oh,
that
a
budget,
month.
and this is yeah a month. So this is like all the sorry $1,000 a month. I'll
Okay.
tell you where the 5,000 come into play.
Okay.
This is kind of like the budget that between us come up for like these different things. So I only had $1,000 a month. So I'm like, okay, how do I make $1,000 last me for the entire month, right? For parties and stuff and get-togethers and stuff like that. Well, I gamified it. So I created points for the fraternity brothers. Is like, hey, if you bring this type of stuff, you get a pass for X, Y, and Z, like a future event, right? You don't have to pay,
Mm.
a due or whatever. And I ended up building up after like 2, 3 months. I ended up building up a budget of $5,000 a month just because
Wow.
people were bringing stuff, and I was able to save the $1,000 as
Hmm.
much as I could. So little by little, that's kind of like how I treated it. Fantastic success. Thankfully, I was also the Derby Days chairman of the fraternity. This is a philanthropy, and we did a 5K at FIU here in Miami, Florida International. It was the first 5K held by a student organization from the own campus,
Oh, wow.
and we raised about $35,000 for cancer research.
That's
for husband
great.
cancer research. Yeah. So
Wonderful.
throughout all of that, I have met my business partner who happens to be the philanthropy chair who helped me with the 5K, and
Mhm.
he happened to just be really good with money. So both of us kind of like hit it from there. And that's how we started my main business, which is the ads agency. So I own an ads agency for now 10 years.
Mhm.
And that's kind of like catapulted like into like, okay, let's go for it. Like I don't want to be nobody's employee. Nothing bad about that. But I felt limited with like what I wanted to do. So that was the first like transformation into, okay, we're gonna figure it out. Throughout that entire time, the first few years, we were on a strict diet of Wendy's chicken nuggets, where we would essentially have a budget of $15 per week to be able to eat. So we will get a family, uh, um, uh, I guess family chicken nuggets, and we would
Yeah.
just eat that through the weeks. So
Wow.
yeah, so that whole thing, long story short, 10 years later, we are an agency of 24, ups and downs between COVID and different things that happened through the
Mhm.
years. Lost it all, recouped it all pretty much, and we're a team of 24. We handle 55 e-commerce stores right now,
Wow.
and we're aggressively growing still.
That's
So
great.
this year has been incredible because AI has provided and automation and AI have provided a way to like scale in
Mhm.
in in a really rapid way.
That's great. And a lot of people don't see what happens behind the scenes. So you went from eating 15 chicken nuggets a week to
Yeah.
scaling up to now managing over 50 e-commerce businesses. That's amazing. That's wonderful. Congratulations on that. But that took
Thank you.
discipline. So I would say that, you set the bar and you said this is what we're going to stick to until we make it. And you did. That's great. So what do you think was your biggest struggle or biggest challenge during that time, leading into your transformation?
Great question. So I would say the biggest struggle during that time was the honestly a lot of doubt came in because multiple times we were at the at the fifth hour pretty much, and we didn't have anything to show for in terms of like, hey, we need another $1,000 or we're gonna lose this, right? So that happened multiple times. So it was like discouraging a little bit, but it was like for some reason, after like the seventh time that happened, something clicked. And that struggle, I mean, that was a whole like full year. I mean, you know how businesses are when you're starting up, like no majority of businesses like die out the first year. And the first
Mhm.
5 years, like more than
Yeah.
50% done, So that was our struggle. It's like, okay, we don't want to be just another number. We just want to like add another, business to go bankrupt. So after that, we really like committed to like, okay, we need to figure it out, even if it means that like we're gonna do $100 websites and we do 50 of them, we need to figure it out what the offer is. So that struggle of finding like the medium ground, whether it's like how much do we need to like actually accomplish for the success of the month and understanding KPIs, that was a big moment for us there. But the struggle came more like self-doubt on whether like I was meant to do this or not.
Mhm.
Um, but what it took is just the honestly resilience at the end of the day because we would literally be okay, today we have to make $2,000. Okay, let's go and knock on doors on the street mall in front of us and
Yeah.
like tell them we're gonna do a website for them. So that was us also door to door. So that period of time was really was a struggle because we were about to lose it all and we didn't know if we were in the right path or if we're doing things right. So we didn't have that much of a mentor in that regard.
Mhm. So was there ever a point when you said, okay, I'm done? Like we've tried it the sixth time. I'm not ready for the seventh. I think we did what we could and I'm done. Let's move on. Or what happened to move past that point?
We had our biggest month that day, surprisingly, because we didn't have like the business knowledge, but we knew how to do something, right? We know we had a certain skill level that most people don't. And even if we didn't have what we promised, we would literally like okay, we have to learn it within like a week. And
Mm,
that was my job to figure it out. So my business partner was more the sales front, and I was more of the, hey, I sold 50 websites. You're gonna have to do them all in like the next 2 weeks. So figure it out kind of deal. So what made it happen was just honestly, and this is funny, I've never really said this in a public forum, but when I started after I graduated college and we started the business, my parents were like, "Hey, you're gonna have to figure it out and get a job, right?" I wasn't living at home, but like they were paying a few things for me,
mhm,
um, and they're like, "Hey, you're gonna have to figure it out. Like, you need to get a job because if you're gonna be here, like, we need to, you need to help. Like, you're already
mhm,
18, 20, whatever years old it was." And I'm like, damn, I'm really trying to make this thing happen. I've had a history with my parents that I would start things and not finish them because I'll get bored.
mhm, mhm,
So they were scared that this was the case, right? And then it
mhm.
was like, okay, what are you gonna do? Like you didn't apply for jobs or anything, so you're gonna have to spend some time in there. So that was in the back of my mind. I need to prove my dad wrong that I can actually do this.
I love it.
And I took that as a little bit of like a fuel, and it was also in that moment, spur of the moment, like where doubt entered on me. I'm like, I need to change this mindset because I'm gonna lose if I'm thinking that I'm gonna lose.
Mhm.
So that's kind of like the shift there and what kept me going.
Great. So it all came down to mindset, honestly. You set your mind to I'm going to do this, whether it kills me or not. I'm going to make this happen because I have to prove them wrong.
And a bit of a chip on the shoulder, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely helps.
That's great. Whatever it takes, right?
Exactly, exactly.
So what does life look like for you now? What does your business look like for you now? You
So,
mentioned you will have over 50 e-commerce building
right.
companies, right? But
Mhm.
from where you were at the very beginning when you first made it and you crossed over now to where you are you looking to shift again? Are you looking to go bigger? I mean, what are you looking to do now?
Yeah, good question. So I the market that we're in, the niche that we're in, is in hemp industry. So we kind of rode the wave of CBD. We were one of the first companies to be able to that did ads on Facebook, on Google, on all these different platforms for CBD, for Delta 9, for these different like products. But I struggle a little bit with that because it's not my favorite industry to be in. It's definitely done a lot of good in terms of like me personally and people because it has helped a lot of people as well. But one law changes, which happens through multiple years, but one law changes and I'm screwed.
Yeah.
So I was like, I saw the writing on the wall and I'm like, you know what, I've always wanted to be in real estate. And the reason for that is because my parents went through pre-foreclosure, and I saw the struggle, the stress. Oh my God, this was the toughest time of our family altogether because we had to figure it out. So, um, after a certain amount of time during the last year and a half, since I joined Owners Club, the reason why I joined Owners Club is because one, I wanted more knowledge in real estate or sub two and Gator. I wanted into real estate somehow, some way. I know this is where everybody makes their wealth. So I was like, I need to figure it out another path. I'm successful with the marketing. I'm successful with building the team, structuring and building systems. So in my mind, I'm like, I need to go learn another industry and apply those same skill sets. So ever since like we kind of like went through that issue with my parents, like in the pre-foreclosure, that was always in the back of my mind of like I need to pivot in some way, shape, or form, or add onto my skill sets. So joined Gator, then went to Squad Up. I wasn't even in sub two when I saw the owners club sign. I'm like,
Mhm.
I'm going in there because I need to talk to those people.
Yeah.
I want to be surrounded by people that are committed to their business, committed to entrepreneurship, and then they're willing to help. They're willing to
Mhm.
extend their hand and like, well, you have a perfect example behind you in the on the for the Squad Up Summit. Congrats, again, obviously on receiving that.
Thank
Um,
you.
but it is that, right? Being able to be part of a group that is willing to help. So what has shifted? Well, my mentality has completely shifted. Now not only I own the ads agency, the e-com agency, I also own an automation business. Okay. I have multiple partners, which I didn't have before. I was more the backend guy always in the agency, so I never really built relationships like that. So I expanded my horizons in a sense. And now today, I have, they're not like $1 million businesses yet, but I can feel the traction on all these businesses now that I have a group that I can go make money with.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for me, it was a lesson when I came into Owners Club. I tried going at it by myself for a little while. But then I started to look around me and I saw all those partnerships that formed and where
Mhm.
they are now compared to where we started. And it just blew my mind. And I said, this is
Yeah.
it. It's all about, honestly, collaboration and being in the right room with the right people. And
Hmm.
everyone in this group is a go-giver. And that I think makes a difference. Somebody who's will, like you said, willing to give and help out. That makes the
Right.
difference. So when you look back on your journey, what are you most proud of today?
I haven't answered that question ever. I haven't even thought about it. So these are great questions. Um, I would say, what am I the most proud of today? I think that I have constantly been genuine in every part of my life. So I'm very proud of that. I I always, you have your little white lies here and there because like you're afraid or like, things like that. But
Mhm.
like overall, I think I have been very genuine to who I am and not let that creep in too much for me to be like I'm not capable. Um, and that I think that has been instilled in me since I was a kid. So I was raised that way.
That's
So I guess
great.
continuing that, it's something that
Mhm.
I cherish, and then knowing that like I'm genuinely a good person, and the proof is like with the people that like if you ask who I am and how I am, they're gonna tell you exactly that.
100%. And I agree 100%. You are a great person. I've
Thank you.
I've discovered that myself. So now after everything, how do you define success differently? Or do you still define it as the same?
I used to think that success came because of the dollar amount that was in my bank account. I think it's a balance of all of it at the end of the day, and that's what I'm striving for. Physically, mentally, relationship wise, family, friendship, obviously business success as well. But I think it's a combination of all of those, not one. So I still struggle with things. I mean, I'm not obviously perfect, but the more that I can put at least a 1% into one of those buckets, every day that I can, then I will. And that's kind of like my definition of success. If I was to define today whether I'm successful or not, I think I would say there is a lot of areas I need to improve on, but that I'm sticking to that is what I would say. Yeah, that
That's
I've been
great.
finding success in.
That's wonderful. And so, as you looked at your whole journey and listening to what you've gone through, that's quite a story, quite a transformation where you started and where you are now. And as you look at things now and define success the way that you're doing it, did you ever think that you would see success as this? Or did you always think it was going to be about how much money I make and I'm going to be driving the Lamborghini and the mansion that I'm going to own, you know?
Yeah, I
Well,
always wanted the McLaren. I'm a McLaren,
it's the
so
McLaren.
that's my supercar. Um, it's funny. At the beginning, yes, I was like, okay, money is the number one sign of success. That has shifted a ton. But at the end of the day, money is more of the tool, and if you have more of the tool that you can use, then the more success I believe you can get. So in a way, I still see money as the kind of like the energy of the ecosystem that will fuel that, right? So, I still think it's a very important part of being successful is being able to know how to make and hold money
Mhm.
and multiply it, I
Excellent.
guess.
Yeah, absolutely. So where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, not in South Florida, um, not in Miami. I think in 5 years, probably I am what I'm striving for in 5 years is being able to um start building some sort of so back in Venezuela where I'm from, my family had my uncles and grandparents, brothers and sisters. They bought this like street. in where we all lived, and
Mhm.
it was kind of like a family compound. So
Mhm.
that's always been my dream. I hope that I can. I hope, and I'm striving for to be able to build something like that in the next 5 years, so that I can
Mhm.
bring my family together again.
I love that. Now, is your whole family here now, or is your family in different places of the world?
Good majority of them are here in the U.S. Most of them
Mhm.
live in South Carolina. So I love going to Charleston to visit them. Um, and then I have a few here and there, but more direct is here in the East Coast, South Carolina, here in
Mhm.
Florida.
All right, great, wonderful. I love that. I love that that plan. I'm not going to say dream. I love that plan because it will happen. You're working your way towards it. Great.
Yes.
All right. So if someone listening is standing where you once stood, they're stuck, uncertain, overwhelmed, trying to figure it out, what's the one piece of advice that you would give them?
Don't be afraid to ask for help. I never ask for help. I try to figure out everything on my own, and that's why I think I'm quote unquote behind in a sense. It feels that way in my book because I never asked for help. I never looked up and was like, who's the who to my how, right? Like, how do I do that? Who's gonna be able to help me? I never understood that concept before owners club. So definitely, like, don't be afraid to ask for help. Especially now, I mean, you even can get help on your phone with ChatGPT and AI, but there's never going to be a better um a person that can guide you by experience and not what a machine can tell you. You can learn a lot from it, but like the experience speaks volumes.
Mhm.
So yeah, don't be afraid to ask for help.
I agree 100%. So you've started a new business in the AI side of things. So tell me a little bit about that because right now that's all you hear is AI, AI, AI. And those of us who are using ChatGPT, it's like that he's become our best friend, he or she, whoever they are, they've become our best friend. And for everything we go to ChatGPT, but I know that that's just scratching the surface. That is nowhere near where the capacity that we could be using AI right now to help us. And I want to see AI as a tool. I don't want to be something that I rely on. But
Mhm.
tell us a little bit about your thoughts on AI and if deep down inside, are you concerned about AI or do you feel that it's in fact a tools that are going to get us to where we need to go?
It is definitely a tool. I personally AI is going to replace jobs, 100%, 1,000%. So those who are not in that world already, not only ChatGPT or OpenAI, but also not utilizing it in their day to day, are going to get left behind. So in that regard, that's not a fear mongering. That is a reality. So understanding that, I do see AI as a tool. Um, I like to say that I don't have an AI company. I have a systems company. So what I do is I utilize AI as part of those systems in order to create better workflows. So in that regard, like, ChatGPT is a great tool. You can learn a lot of it, but the issue with ChatGPT is that if you don't learn how to actually extract it, make it connect with other stuff, then you're obviously not going to be able to get the most out of it. Now, with that said, with all these advancements in AI and all these companies spending billions of dollars, they're going to make sure that you are the consumer of those tools. The difference is going to be whether you're going to be a consumer or you're going to be a creator with it, right? That's the difference between the two. So by creator, I don't mean like creating an AI software or tool. By creator, I mean like creating with it, right? So
Mhm.
you don't have to be technical. You can literally speak to it and then it will like give you answers. But the point is connecting it within your system, your ecosystem. So in that regard, I do believe AI, it is a tool. You can mold it and use it. I mean, to the point where I am even creating my own localized AI for my home, for my stuff, for my business. And you can too. It costs a little bit of money right now to do so, to do it at a high level. But
Mhm.
you can today, if you learn it, you can literally download AI onto your computer and run it in the sky while you're on an airplane without any connectivity to the internet. You can
Oh
literally
wow.
do that today.
Wow.
So, but there is obviously there is technicalities on things like that, right? So it's stuff like that that I'm constantly looking after because I want to provide a good service and be able to utilize these tools for what they are, like being able to help a company not lose or go bankrupt, potentially hindering those people that are working in that company,
Mhm.
um, because of the AI, revolution. So I like to say that I create systems and operational systems using
Mhm.
AI and automation as my main tools. But it's all about like how you structure the business
Mhm.
itself, right? You need to have
Okay.
SOPs, you need to have all these things in order
Mm.
for AI to be enhancing your business.
So give me an example of creating with AI.
So, okay, so to give you an idea, this is how I service my clients. Today, if you are coming to me for an automated funnel, okay, that's what I call them. My onboarding process, it needs some intaking from you. What is that intaking? Maybe we go on a call and then we answer some questions. I'm able to put all this information together into a process that builds for me the action plan for the things that you need. Okay. And then I'm able to now be a better service to you and your business because now I have a deep understanding on what you do, the things that are important to you as well. So the deliverability of my service to you should be enhanced, and then as well as being able to provide you a service where now I understand your business enough to go and get you clients, right? To go and get you, leads, or to provide you a script or some sort of plan for you to be able to go and do more social media with the actual messaging that you're trying to attract people with, right? So
Mhm.
deliverables like that is what I mean in creating um, for the systems that I create, for the systems that I build. Other things that are creating, I mean, you'll see today, I think there was a report not long ago, of a Replit, which is one of those tools that you can code with.
Mhm.
um I think something crazy. I think it was like a 100,000 applications per day were being submitted through Replit.
Wow.
So people are
Wow.
creating. People are
Yeah.
creating and creating even small things like, let's say, a tracker for whenever you have to water your plants, right? And then,
Mhm.
okay, what's the, how much water do we give it, or things like that, that are more specific. Um, when was it, at what time? So that way you track all these things, and people are creating apps like that for their internal use at home. Okay.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
that's what I mean by creating with AI on like a
Mhm.
personal standpoint. For the business, is more of like, well, what's your onboarding like? What are your documentations like? And then being able to create those things for your business as far as like the process that you do.
Yeah. Excellent. I was going to ask you another question. I completely forgot what it was, and it was related to the AI, obviously. Oh, wait. Oh, that's what I was going to ask you. Okay, so for somebody, one of the biggest concerns that I have as I'm looking at different AIs and different systems that tools that exist out there, how do we know which ones are safe and which ones are not? So I started using one that was recommended, and then later I found out that it was a Chinese model. And so I want to be, a little weary of, where I'm putting all my information because
Right.
one of the things that I didn't do back when they did the ancestry DNA thing, I did not want to participate in that because I
Me
did
neither.
not want to provide my DNA. And I said, well,
No.
what's going to happen in the future? Could they sell it? I mean, I was thinking worst case scenario, which
Hmm.
we've heard that one of them was being sold or something like that. Anyway, so
Right.
no, I'm not giving you my DNA. So now here we are giving freely all this information and inputting it into an AI. And if it's falling into the wrong hands, how do we know which one's safe and which one's not? Or maybe this is just the world that we're living in and we are just giving our information, period. I mean, what do you say about that? Or how do we determine what we should use or not use?
Well, I got to the point where like I know that my camera on my phone is recording me 24/7. It literally flashes a red light just to see where your face is at, so that when you look at it, it turns on or it unlocks, right? So it's already look, it just did it. It's
Oh,
already happening in that regard, right? So I already know that. The difference is like the company is an American company. I'm live in America, right? And it happens to be Apple. The my phone is an Apple device. When it
mhm,
comes to the AI, I don't like to give anything personal to any of these things. Okay. I very much mask absolutely all my numbers. I cover all my names and everything when it comes to personal data because I don't trust the players out there.
mhm,
OpenAI is still in a lawsuit with the New York Times, where on the ruling of that during that period, every single message that gets sent into ChatGPT, they need to save it So nothing gets deleted from the server at all, ever, from their servers. They're super
Mm,
enclosed. OpenAI is good. They have a good product, but they're an American company as well. But like, I don't just trust just putting blindly my information there.
mhm,
The one that I have been using the most and I trust a little bit more with my information, business wise and things like that, is Gemini with Google. Google has always have been really keen on security and I guess keeping you more anonymous in terms of like a lot of the things, even though they track the entire internet pretty much. Um, but I like their privacy setups. And Gemini is a fantastic tool if you use Workspace, Google Workspace.
mhm,
Everything is intertwined, interconnected. So the way that I would say to use these tools is they all have their own kind of like specialty, okay, and how, where, and when you would use it. So understanding that is a first, right? ChatGPT is more for ideation, exploring ideas. Okay, you can do research from them. Notice like the images and the content creation can be done from there because it's more of a creative tool. Um, Claude, if you're familiar with Claude, that one is fantastic at writing code and applications. That's what majority of these tools like Manus, GenSpark, all of these are built on top of. Okay.
mm,
And then you have Gemini. I'm telling you the three major players, and then you have Google with Gemini.
mhm,
Gemini is absolutely fantastic at combining your entire workspace, your Google Calendar, your Gmail, your Google Docs, your Drive, your Keeps, your Google Keeps if you take notes there, and Google Tasks. All of them you
mm,
can literally like prompt it directly from Gemini in order for it to, do the task that you need to do to summarize a long transcript, for example, in this
mhm.
call, right? So
Yeah.
you just got to find which one works. I personally don't trust the Chinese ones. I still
Mhm,
have them. I use them, but I use them for
mhm.
specific things. And those things are
Okay.
more for like a little bit more research, planning out, doing business plans, for example, maybe in like ideation of presentations and things of that nature.
Mhm.
But I don't give personal information to AI ever.
Okay. And this leads me to another question I've been thinking about. So, in the work that I've done, I've always created curriculums, I've created presentations, I've created different types of um, products for whatever different jobs I've had. And so that comes with intellectual property. So, when you're creating with AI, you're creating through AI, does that still exist, having intellectual property over what you've created, or does that go away because you're using a tool that others could potentially be creating with as well?
I don't think it goes away. I think even what you create with AI is still your intellectual property because you had to be the one to prompt it. You
Hmm.
had to be the one to talk to it and make it understand what you were actually wanting, right? And there's techniques to do that as well to get the best outcome of the prompt. So now where it gets a little bit slippery slope is like the information that it was trained on, right? And that's not on you necessarily. That's more on the actual company, whether they paid their dues in terms of like being able to scrape that information or use that information. So in terms of like personal like IP, intellectual property, I would say it's still yours. Um, but we don't know what the rulings are going to be. As of right now, because it is not an original, but it's always a modification of the original. I think you're still very safe if you were to like, I don't know, do like a Pixar style character, like
Hmm.
that goes in. I mean, the character itself is your own imagination. The style of it might be from Pixar, but they can their style is not an IP. It's the character, right?
Hmm. Okay.
So that's how I see that.
All right, interesting. So these are all just questions that I think about as I'm sitting there going, AI. Let's see. Is this the way it's going to be? Does this work? So I appreciate you giving me the time and breaking that down and on what your thoughts are on what that looks like. Because for me, it is something that I do ponder often, and I wonder, okay, is this going to be a slippery slope that I'm going to go down and then not come back from it, or is this something that I really should dig in deeper and learn more about so I can start using it more? And I'm becoming more comfortable with it, but it
Mhm.
does it there's some concern there. I don't want to rely on it so much so that it becomes my a crutch. So now this is all I use to be able to do anything, you know?
I know, and I had that the same thought as well as I was using it more and more. But if you use it like, for example, if you were to use it as like a Google, then it does become a crutch because now everything that
Mhm.
you ask it is like a question instead of like being able to think. But if you start reasoning with it, right,
Mhm.
then it doesn't become a crutch. It becomes like a powerful way to get you the information faster. So a tool that I recommend for people to do research, and it's very much AI, but it's for research, is a Notebook LM with Google.
Okay.
Fantastic tool. I use it for educating myself. I grab 50 videos online that are related to the same topic, put it on there, and literally it will create a podcast style audio between two people discussing all the major points of all the videos. And you can
Oh,
ask it questions like describe, like give me the best. For example, I do a lot of systems, so like a lot of my things are related to tech. So it's like, what are the easiest path to like connect X, Y, and Z tool? And it literally like provides me with like all the logic, with the steps, with the guide, with the mind mapping and everything else with Notebook LM. So highly recommend that one
all
for
right.
the
I made
learning
a note of
purpose.
that. I will definitely be looking that up and checking it out. This has been great. Well, I really do appreciate your time. So if people wanted to find you, where would they go?
So
How do
you
they
can you
can?
can hit me up on Instagram at it's Will Castillo.
Okay,
I'm not posting too much in there, but that's where you ideally you'll find me, or email me at will at castillo.ventures. So those are the two spaces that I would say people can get a hold of me. And yeah, those are the main ones.
great. And so is there anything, any project or event or something that you'd like to promote that you'd like to invite our guests to participate in or that, they might want to work with you on?
Sure. So right now I've been working on my main offer, the automated funnels. I generally want to help investors and entrepreneurs pretty much streamline their entire lead to acquisition, lead to onboarding, part of their business. So working with, I want to work with people that are ready to take on that and that are looking to systematize that process. So if you're looking for funnels and you want to understand kind of like how they work and how they should be set up, definitely please contact me. We'd love to work with you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate your time. And I had all those little nagging questions I had about AI. Got a chance to ask you and find out a little bit more. So I will definitely be exploring Notebook LM. Sounds really interesting. So I'll definitely be
Yeah,
looking that up. And I'm just going to keep doing my research and trying to learn a little bit more about how to use AI for my benefit. But I really, really do appreciate your time.
definitely. No, thank you for having me. And if you do have questions on AI, just come to the AI hotline or the Assistance for Owners inside Owners Club.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. I loved getting to know your story more. Thanks again,
Thank you.
Will.